Or just, yeah. What's up, gang?
What's up, yo boy with the Rico? Estoy aquí con Bobby en su tienda Remedy.
Remedy. Y'all can catch us on Jefferson, for real.
Yeah. So, a ver.
Oh, we're just talking about...
una pregunta, though.
Yeah, go ahead.
All right, para que la gente que no sabe, THCA.
Yeah.
¿Qué onda con ese pedo? La gente dice que es marihuana, no es marihuana.
Yeah.
What is it?
So, the main difference between THCA and THC in Texas specifically, it just has to do with the genetical process of it. So, honestly, it's just a legal loophole that a lot of stores in Texas and in general have been using. I mean, legally it is classified as hemp. So, I mean, it has a 0.03% THC content of Delta 9. Delta 9, for those that don't know, is the main psychoactive ingredient in marijuana or any type of cannabis in general. It's the one that really helps the sympathetic nervous system calm down, help with stress, kind of put you in a different altered state of consciousness. And so I feel like a lot of people that are kind of uneducated, you know what I think really happened? What I think really happened is that I think that when they brought THCA to Texas, drug dealers are the ones that started that rumor. That THCA is fake weed, that it's not real cannabis.
Right.
Because I feel like they saw their market being threatened, because the same shit that they got on the street, that, you know, they're selling over here for like, I don't know, let's say 50, 60 an eighth, right? Nah, more than that, sorry. Let's say they're selling at 75 an eighth, right? Because I used to, long time ago, I used to deal, so I know the black market prices.
Right.
You can get like a real nice solid $75, $70, real high endo exotic eighth, right? And now stores like us can offer that same type of cannabis with the same genetical makeup. The only difference is the Delta 9 is in a raw state. So it's not in the potent state that, as opposed to typical stuff that you find on the black market. That's already ready. It's ready to go. But it also needs a lot more maintenance too. A lot of people don't know that. Because since it's not in a raw state, you have to protect the terpenes, you have to protect all the cannabinoids. It has to be kept out of light, it has to be kept out of oxygen.
Yeah.
You have to have it stored properly in a humidified area. THCA, since it's a raw state, it doesn't need as much attention. It does too. I mean, obviously you want to make sure you keep it in the right state, but essentially what it is back to my point, which was, I really think that was started by drug dealers because they saw us kind of coming after their market. I mean, they saw particularly that, you know, now you can go into stores or you can order this online and get that same quality type of genetics for $30, $35.
So, ¿tú prefieres fumar THCA que THC?
Honestly, I feel like it's the same stuff, honestly. Yeah. I mean, I've tried both and...
No notas la diferencia?
Yeah, no. I really don't notice a big difference. I mean, the only difference is, like I said, the genetical makeup. So it's just THCA is a raw state of THC. When it heats up, it turns into THC. That's the big problem that a lot of people really don't understand. THCA, when heated, turns into THC.
Right.
Now, there's a couple factors, though, that also have to be mentioned. Like, number one, there is a conversion rate process. So it's not 100% conversion rate from THCA to THC. It's like a 90, depending on what type of flower you have, how well you kept it, about 85% to 95%. That's about as good as it's gonna get. But in all honesty, that's all you really need, because when you have other you know, strains out there that are just extremely potent, you got strains like Wiz Khalifa's Khalifa Kush is only 25%. Meanwhile, we got shit that goes up to 38, you know, 50%, and you got snowballs that are like 99%. So I think it's just like what you're trying to use it for. You know, then that all brings back to my main question, which is like, what are you using it for? Because there is, I would say, a really big makeup of those that just use cannabis responsibly, respectfully. And then there's another half of the community that just doesn't use it responsibly. They're doing it for the wrong things. They're using it every day. You know, they're not doing good things while they're on it. They constantly stink in public. Just stuff like that. You know, obviously we want to make sure that you want to represent the cannabis community as a whole, that we're not all to that function. Everybody's different.
You know, yo fumo, ¿verdad?
Yeah.
Yo fumo bastante. Pero I've seen other cities, bro, que cuando they legalize weed, it becomes
shit
chaos.
Cities. Yeah.
Like what do you think?
That's
you think that would happen
That's
here?
a good point that you brought up. So, number one, we're not calling for the legalization of marijuana. I want to make that extremely clear to everybody listening. We are not calling for the legalization of marijuana or recreational marijuana in Texas, because number one, we're Texas. You know, I really don't see that happening in the next 20, 30, 40, 50 years. I want to say 40 years because by the time our generation is older, they might have it legalized at that point, so people wouldn't really care. But we found a loophole, we're using the loophole, and it's working. But the only problem is there's not regulation on it yet. It's in a gray area in Texas, right? There's not enough regulation, meaning in Allen, Texas, I don't know if you heard, there was one store out there for the whole one store fucked it up for the whole city because just people out here being idiots. They're not being professionals. They don't get their proper licenses. They don't have proper branding. They don't have proper marketing. They just look like a shitty place to be in, right? So I think there's a big distinction of dispensaries that really try to cater to the more of like keeping a nice, clean look, and then head shops or smoke shops. I don't call us a smoke shop because we don't have any glass products. In Dallas, Texas, per like the city council code, in order for you to sell specific types of glass, you have to actually go in front of the council and tell them like, hey, why do you want to sell this? Because it can be used to sell other type of really heavy paraphernalia on the streets like crack, heroin, all that, like all those types of glasses. So I personally like to label us as a dispensary, but in Allen, Texas, there was some asshole who was just literally all he had was like a desk, a scale, and his strains, and they were like in the bags that weren't even closed. The motherfucker got raided. All he was doing was selling just like that, and it's like, number one, you're not supposed to be doing that. Every container that we have in here has to be sealed. If you're doing things on another premises, that's fine, but the legalities of it is you have to have a manufacturing facility that makes sure everything looks up to code. You got all your licenses, sanitary code, everything. You're compliant.
Is this Texas grown?
So ours is not. Ours is California grown. But our next batch will be Texas grown. I'm putting our company in a position to support more Texas grown. I'm real serious about what we keep in the store because one thing I'm just super against is there's a lot of growers that they'll have really good genetics on the flower, which is the grower, the manufacturer, distributor, and then the retail. Now, in Texas, since it's in a gray area, the DSHS allows you to have a manufacturing cultivation license with hemp. It just has to be certified as hemp. What is hemp? The legal classification of hemp is as long as it has a THC content of flower under 0.03%, it can be classified legally as hemp. Okay, that's what hemp is, and that's what THCA is. It allows us to put the chemical makeup of THC in a different area to be able to use what the confines of the law say to be able to bring cannabis into Texas. That's the same exact thing. So I'm super big on making sure that nobody's spraying any pesticides on any type of flower. I'm a real big person on that because you can notice the difference. It's not a good high. It's not a good feeling. It feels like shit. You feel like, the reason I love sativa so much, and I've told you this before, is because whenever they're grown organically, there can be no bad feeling. Seriously. Right. Depending on what you're smoking it with, of course, that also helps and how hot everything is burning. But particularly if you use just enough and you use it responsibly and you use it just right, you won't need to get blasted out of your mind. I mean, there's like no terrible feeling. One of my favorite strains, homegrown from Oklahoma, it's called Tangy. Beautiful looking flower, nice, green, has some orange hairs on it too, which is pretty significant for sativas in general. I remember my father had just passed away. I don't think I had smoked for like 2 years, and I think I was just having like a real bad depressive episode, and I couldn't get up, couldn't go nowhere, super stressed out, super like, damn, like my life sucks. I was like, you know what, I got some of this Tangy I've been serving people with, and let me go ahead and try it out and see if it helps. Man, I'm telling you, bro. I packed the bowl. I hit a small bowl of some Tangy. Not even a few minutes later, my outlook completely shifted. It went from, my life is fucking terrible, everybody around me just died in the span of 6 months. I had my brother, my best friend, and my dad die within the span of 6 months, and Damn. Having to deal with that was extremely brutal on me. And so once I medicated with cannabis responsibly, there was such a shift. My life went from just, I hate my life, everything was terrible, to like, my life isn't so bad. My life is pretty good. I'm pretty grateful for my family, I'm pretty grateful for my life, for the relationships that I've made, for the lives of my family. And that's what cannabis does when you use it responsibly. It's supposed to help you. It's not supposed to be an all-term use for the rest of your life. No, it's supposed to put you in a different altered state of consciousness to be able to build a lifestyle around that so you can eventually taper off of cannabis. Right. That's what people forget. Cannabis is a medicine just like any other medicine. Antibiotics. You take antibiotics for more than 2 weeks? No, because the problem's already been solved. Same concept with cannabis. It's like, use it as needed and then build a lifestyle around it, right? So it puts you in a different headspace to make different decisions.
Like more for veterans, people with PTSD.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, 100%.
It helps them.
There's a huge advantage to cannabis, especially with hemp in Texas right now. I mean, because here's the legality aspect of Texas. We do have a medical marijuana program in Texas. It's called the Texas Compassionate Use Program. I'm on the medical marijuana plan because I do not like medicine, psychotic medicines. I took stimulants for 4 years over a period of my life when I was younger for ADHD.
So okay, what's it called again? The program?
Teacup, Texas Compassionate Use Program.
All right, it's a teacup, ¿verdad?
Yeah.
What weed can you get with that? Like the same thing?
So I'm gonna head right that direction. So with teacup, back to what I was saying though, I really don't like to use medicines that really make a chemical change in your brain to that extent, right?
Yeah.
I like more natural. I'm okay with natural medicines, natural herbs, teas. I'm so on board with stuff like that.
You guys do that in smoke?
Yes. No.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, I would consider this one of those medicines.
Yeah.
I would not. I've taken stimulants before. I've taken Adderall, Nandites, Vyvanse, and Ritalin. Okay. And it was one of the worst things that my family and my mom, who just was uneducated at the time. Not saying to give a young child that, but there's other alternatives, right? Yeah. And so being on the teacup program, I'm on the teacup program for PTSD, just for things that have happened to me. And I went through a period of time where my dad, who passed away, like I told you, I had to unplug his life support, and so I watched him die, and it was a very traumatic thing for me because every man is gonna have to go through that one day, But mine was just, I was 22 years old, and I just wasn't ready for that. I was still a kid. I really don't think that any man starts to transition into thinking like a man until they're 25, 26, which is how old I am now.
¿Y tu mom was in the picture, Diane?
No, my parents were divorced.
Oh, no.
So, and his new wife at the time, they weren't married by law. And so I was next of kin, so I was one of the only people that could sign off on him being...
¿Y ahorita qué edad tienes?
Who?
How old are you right now?
26.
4 years ago, nigga.
Yeah, 4 years ago. It feels crazy. It's coming up on 5 next year. But, so with teacup, the problem with the Texas Compassionate Use Program is there's 3 main companies in Texas that hold all the power for the monopoly on those dispensaries. Now, in Texas, it's important to note some context. There is no rules for lobbying in Texas. What is lobbying? Lobbying is the donation of private money from private organizations and investors into specific candidates or into specific topics. Right now, we're seeing that with Texas hemp. We're having Senator Dan Patrick and his goons who keep trying to demonize hemp and cannabis and keep trying to go with the old narrative of it's poisoning our kids, it's in the wrong communities, it's harming adults. It's like, hey, buddy, that probably worked when you were 20.
Yeah.
But that shit doesn't work anymore. We have the age of social media where anybody can go on Google and see for themselves. Cannabis doesn't kill people. Cannabis doesn't hurt people.
Information is out there now.
Exactly.
Porque de primero sí empezó, it started like...
The 40s, the 50s.
The 40s and 50s, yeah. But Mexico is getting rich.
Yeah, Mexico brought cannabis over here.
Yeah, because you can make clothing.
Yeah. That was
fucking drywall.
That's why one of the main reasons that they banned hemp in general is because it was a main competitor of the Industrial Revolution.
The cotton.
The cotton gin, that whole time frame.
Y
it was
también
like,
el tobacco.
Yeah, and we were getting all of our hemp from Mexico.
And I believe that, I could be wrong.
But that's when they started the demonization process of it, right?
Yeah.
So, with the teacup program and lobbying, right? So what I mean by that, since there is no regulation, one of the main donators for Senator Dan Patrick is Anheuser-Busch, which for those that don't know is the stock holding company that owns a lot of the major alcohol chains in Texas. Meaning he's having his pockets filled with alcohol money so that he can essentially ban THC in Texas.
So those are the ones?
I'm going to tell you, I'm going to tell you why. Hold on, I'm going to tell you why. Last year alone, Texas did $4 billion in hemp, okay? A majority of that came from, I'm going to show you. Stay right there. A majority of those sales
that's crazy.
Came from this right here. Not even flour in Texas. A majority of sales came from this. THC seltzers, right? So a lot of people our age, a lot of younger people, they don't like to drink alcohol. They don't like to go that direction, so they don't like to head that direction on stuff.
This was a competition for the liquor business, right?
The alcohol business. This alone, in 1 year, We did $4 billion. Now, the whole $4 billion didn't come from this. I would say around half or a little bit above half came from THC seltzers. A lot of people or younger people, they don't like to drink alcohol anymore, bro. A lot of people really don't like alcohol. You know why? Because I think we're in a wave of fitness. I really think we're in a wave of people really taking their health more serious. And I think like they grew up with their parents being alcoholics too. I mean, you know, coming from like the Latino community, like I didn't drink beer till I was 22, 21 years old because of that stigma. You know, like I had beer before, but it was just like, to me, I smelled it around parties when I was young and as a kid. And you know, you smell it when it's cold and when it needs to be picked up, and it stinks. It just smells nasty, you know what I'm saying? And so for a while I was like, I don't want to drink that shit, you know?
Yeah.
When I got older, I started drinking liquor instead. But now that I'm older, I really don't be drinking like that, to be honest. I mean, I really like the seltzers a lot, to be honest. They hit.
And it gives you the buzz, like if you're drinking beer?
I would say it's very similar, but it's different.
Okay.
It's similar in the sense that it does calm you. It allows you to kind of focus. It allows you to relax more. Alcohol, I feel like, is a little bit more like you be thinking really hard, you know? And so maybe they both have their own, you know, uses, but I do think that in the long term, they're both unhealthy. But in the terms of which is more unhealthy, I would say alcohol.
So the alcohol people are paying the government.
Yes, not the government. The senators. Because we don't have any lobby.
The hemp.
Yes. So alcohol, big alcohol is paying their troops on the ground, politicians, to continuously attack the hemp industry to get rid of stuff like this.
But the government's not with it, right?
It's not that the government is not with it. It's just the governor is smart, and he understands that as a person in political power of that sense, you understand that there is corrupt areas in politics. And you understand that politicians will specifically use things or certain tactics to get bills passed by force. So it's a game, you know. Politics is a game. It's a social game, and so with the governor, he's smart because, you know, I was extremely surprised that he vetoed it in the first place because I was really worried. I mean, he vetoed it. For those that don't know, a total ban on THC passed the House as well as the Senate, but the governor had 30 days to veto it. He didn't veto it until 40 minutes before midnight when it was supposed to take effect, for those that don't know. So on that note, with the governor, in my opinion, I feel like what he did was smart because we're not going through a state law. We're going through a federal law that Donald Trump signed in 2018 that allows us to have hemp in any part of the United States as long as it has a THC content by dry weight of 0.03%. Okay. So that's how we're able to get cannabis into Texas.
Yeah.
It's just there's a lot of misinformation in general out there right now with the world and with the states in general, you know. And so I feel like there was that notion that we talked about, which is maybe the black market. I really don't know who it was that pushed this notion of fake cannabis, or it's not real, it's not the real deal, yada yada.
How many of these can you have though?
As many as you want.
En serio?
Yeah. Look on the back. The ingredients: water soluble hemp, legally, and it has a disclaimer. This is 0.03%. You know.
Y también, pero tú fumas grass también?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Occasionally, though, it has to be, you know, exactly what I told you. It has to be the right type of flower, because I really think, you know, with me in general, everybody's different. Some people can tell the difference between good flower and bad flower. Now you hear that and you think, well, there can be no good and bad flower. All flower is flower. Not saying that there can't be a good and a bad type of flower when it comes to the potency, but there can be an adverse effects to chemicals that are sprayed on the plant, meaning headaches, very drowsy, very rigid type of feeling, very slumped, it doesn't feel as good as it should. It doesn't feel like I can focus. It feels like I'm scattered, I'm getting headaches. You know, that's when you know that the flower is contaminated. And for some people, everybody's different. But for me, I'm extremely sensitive to any type of chemical in my body. I have eczema, as well as, you know, air fresheners in the home. I tell my girl, I'm very specific. She likes to plug up those candle shits and put them in the wall.
You get like allergies or what?
That shit, it gives me such a big headache because there's parabens in there. There's forever chemicals in there, and it goes into the air, and then you breathe it in and it hits your brain.
Yeah.
So for some people, they don't care. But for me, no, I tell my girl I'm a big no-no on that, because it fucks with me, right? Or it's like that, or chemicals in laundry soap. With chemicals in laundry soap, whenever you use it, I had one time where I was using a different type of laundry soap than my family bought, and I was like, oh, I didn't think anything of it, so I started using it. I started breaking out with fucking just big rashes, and I was like, what the fuck is this from? Like I'm not fucking out and about doing nothing. It's from the chemicals. And so some people, they think of this and they think, oh, conspiracy theory and yada yada. I mean, I don't listen to people that think that way, because I mean, at the end of the day, it's chemicals, bro. Like, it's a chemical. It's unnatural. It's not made in nature.
Right.
So a lot of people don't understand that. I mean, you could easily compare it to bleach. It's a chemical. It's not something that's supposed to be in there. And so that's essentially what's happening in the cannabis community right now, which is they're using a lot of pesticides to be sprayed on flower to get it to grow faster, to be more potent, to be more stronger, and to get a more desired look.
So good weed. How much often do you smoke? Like a week?
A week?
Yeah. How many joints? You'll say?
I think it just depends. I use it when needed, so probably like two a week.
2 a week?
Yeah.
No way.
That's it. That's all I need.
What the fuck?
Yeah. That's it.
That's me 2 in the morning.
Yeah. Nah, I mean, everybody's different.
Yeah. No.
But guess what I do? I smoke in the morning. I take a shower. I meditate for about 10 minutes. I get my mind right. I go straight to the gym to conquer my mind.
Yeah.
Once I come out of there, it's all mindset. I come out of there, I send some emails, I cook some food, I'm conscious about what I'm eating, conscious about what I'm doing, what I'm drinking, what I'm putting in my body. Then I come to work. And then guess what? That first day gave me the enough emotional, mental reset to be able to take on the next few days by myself. That's all I need.
Yeah.
I'm not using it to get out of my reality. I'm using it to shift my reality, right? So I'm using it to put myself in a different spot, because the emotional, mental clarity that I'll be able to get from that one joint while I'm there by myself, while I'm there just sitting with myself and my thoughts, I can analyze and see why I feel for what reason, or why I'm thinking a certain way, and just go about it differently.
Was there a time you ever smoked like 3-4 times a day?
Oh yeah.
Was there a time you
I
went
think
crazy?
everybody goes through that in their life. I wouldn't say I ever went crazy, but I think at one point in my life I was smoking every day. And as crazy as it sounds, it did help me. It helped me tremendously, depending on the type of person that you are, though, because like I said, I only smoke sativas. I really don't like indicas. I don't mind a hybrid as long as it's a sativa dominant. For those that are not really familiar with the types of strains, you have indica, sativa, and a hybrid. Indica, we call it indicouch, because it makes you tired, it makes you relaxed, it makes you slumped, it kind of just makes you chill, helps with pain. You got a hybrid, which is a combination of both. Sativa is mainly for head. A lot of people in the industry, depending on who you are, they don't recommend that you use that for depression or bipolar disorder or anything like that. But then again, it has to come back to what the fuck are you doing with your life? You sitting around eating food, playing video games and shit all day? You're arguing with people? Okay, yeah, your life is gonna be terrible. You're getting up, you're eating right, you're drinking water, you're taking a shower, you're grooming yourself, you're taking care of yourself, you're reading, you're going to the gym, you're walking. That's the way it's supposed to be used. It's a medicine. Back to the main point, it's a medicine. A lot of people don't use it that way. So a hybrid is a combination of both of those. But there was a point in time where I just hated the person that I was, and I wanted to shift my perspective into becoming a different individual, and I did. I smoked for about 2 months, mostly every day. I think maybe 4 or 5 times a day, but 4 or 5 times a week. So once a day, it's all I needed. I didn't need anything else, because I would do that same routine.
Right.
Maybe have 3 days on, 1 day off, 3 days on. Yeah.
So ya ves, a ver, todo el mundo ahorita, besides, stores, you guys know where you guys get in your flour.
Yeah.
Every plug says they get California, but everybody, right?
Yeah.
Aunque no venga de allá, pero everybody's saying they got that.
Yeah.
But I go to Colorado and I go smoke over there.
Yeah.
I like the weed in Colorado.
Yeah.
But people that's been to California and Colorado, I've never been to California and smoked. People that has gone to both places, they say Colorado weed is dry. Is it dry?
I really don't think, in the sense, it's dry like that, but I do think that Colorado has an altitude issue. I think that because anybody can say any type of flower is dry, because who's bringing the flower from there? I'm pretty sure when they got the flower in Colorado, the regulation on it.
Oh, okay. You mean the dispensaries out there, or the individual?
No, I mean the individuals that brought the flower here.
To Texas?
Yes.
No, what I'm saying, like people that
traveled to both of those places?
Has traveled to both of those places, they say that California weed is just, no say it's not as dry as Colorado. I don't know.
It's more humid. It definitely has to do with, number one, there's a couple types of different types of flowers, but the two main is indoor and outdoor flowers. Okay. So depending on the type of flower, I personally think that indoor flower is a lot more well maintained It's a lot more expensive though, but it's a lot higher quality. I think that the people that went to Colorado potentially got some outdoor flower because, as I mentioned, there is not a climate issue, but there's an altitude issue. The higher altitude you get, the less oxygen there is in the air.
Yeah.
So the less oxygen that there is for the plant as a whole, or the carbon dioxide, to be able to create the flower that it needs to bloom. So I wouldn't say necessarily it's more dry. Plus, that type of argument is really subjective, because I could say that for anybody. I could say that for my store, somebody else's store, but it all depends on the distributor and how well it was maintained, and it all depends on the grower. What was the cycles like? How did it do during certain times? Did you cure it properly? Did you burp it like it needed to be burped so that way it could stay in the state? So I feel like that's a very subjective argument. But to answer your question, I would give Colorado a chance again. I really liked Colorado when I went out there. I really had a fantastic time, and like I said, you can tell that there's no pesticides or anything on that
I love Colorado weed, bro.
You can tell,
I don't know what my homies be talking about.
You didn't have any type of bad feeling at all, right?
Yeah, no, hell
That's the way that cannabis is meant to be used. It's but these people are over here spraying shit on it, and there's these adverse effects that come with that, which is paranoia, anxiety, stress. They induce these panic attack-like states.
I'm from Michigan, so Michigan is legal. Over there.
Yeah.
I wonder, where do they get their weed from?
What do you mean?
Because it's cold as fuck in Michigan.
That's true. That is true. I would say a lot of people, maybe what they do is they do indoor.
Indoor, yeah. So a lot of it up north, you'll say, is indoor.
Oh, definitely. Yeah. There's not a lot of type of flowers that can survive in different types of climates that are cold. So, or what they'll do is they'll work with the grower or typically how big the company is. That's where we're kind of trying to head, which is to be able to have a manufacturing and growing facility at a different location.
So so if you put them like top 5, you'll say California's number 1 on the weed.
As far as cannabis goes, I don't want to say weed because since I work here, cannabis, hemp. So,
do you think California's number 1
in terms of quality that we found so far? In terms of
Oregon, ¿cómo se llama? Oregon, no?
Yeah. In terms of what I've seen, I do think California is probably number 1 on that list, because California has had weed or cannabis legal for how long? Longer than Colorado. Longer than
Give
Colorado.
me your top 5.
My top 5?
Yeah. Best.
My first has to be California. Just because the climate is so good out there.
Yeah.
Oh my God, it's just ridiculously good. Their
Perfect
farmers
to grow.
are so, because they're right next to the ocean.
Yeah.
So they have year-round weather that's suitable to just grow the best type of cannabis.
Right.
My number 2 is probably New York. Yeah,
New York.
Yeah, New
Concrete
York.
jungle, a la verga.
Because they have a season throughout the year where it's not just freezing, right? And so they do have areas of cultivation where they can do specific things in New York, because not all areas in New York are always cold.
No, right.
Yeah, and another thing too is, in New York specifically, they've had a lot of time to be able to have people go out there that are, I would say, more like cannabis advocates and cannabis connoisseurs on that level. So I think they're ahead of Colorado in that sense. I think Colorado really, I love Colorado, but I think Colorado really set itself back. I'm gonna put Colorado number 4 on that list.
Number 4.
Yeah. Number 3, I would say Oklahoma. Oklahoma, for those that don't know, Oklahoma has a lot of mom and pop shops and a lot of growers that are locally owned and operated.
Yeah, my says cannibal.
Yeah.
I mean cannibal. Medical, ¿verdad?
Medical. Yeah. Well, yes, it is medical, but the way that it's grown out there, the way that they're treating it out there, the way that it's handled, it's a lot more cared for. I think if I had to put Oklahoma 3rd, I would put it because of the term homegrown. When I think of a homegrown type of cannabis flower, they're the first people that I think of. I put Colorado number 4, and I put Seattle 5.
Seattle, okay.
Yeah.
Seattle make the list.
yeah. Seattle make the list just because the city's nicer than Oregon.
Okay. Damn, hell yeah.
Yeah, but I think Colorado fucked up, which is we talked about that. We touched on that point earlier, but we never really got to finish what we were talking about. So for those that don't know, the people right now that are pushing regulation for hemp, we don't want to legalize recreational marijuana. That's not what we want, right? Because what ends up happening is you have everybody from these neighboring states that have felonies and criminal records with marijuana possession of large amounts, and their automatic thinking is, I'm getting in trouble smoking here. Why don't I just go to this state where I could smoke as much as I want and not get in trouble. That's their train of thought. So they just don't contribute to society. They're just this a small group of individuals that abuse cannabis like it shouldn't be abused. And so those individuals, they from neighboring states, they come to the state and they invade it. It's exactly what happened to Colorado. Colorado used to be such a nice, beautiful city.
California también.
California too.
Yeah. Murder Mountain. Like,
yeah. You know, but Colorado on the worst scale. Denver particularly. Yeah. And when people think of like high times, getting stoned to the brim and just getting high and laughing and, you know, not really enjoying yourself, that's more associated with Colorado. People think of Colorado and they're like, I want to get as baked as I can, or I want to go to like High Fest and it's just all these tents and all these people out here just smoking their asses off, and that's cool. But like, I want to use cannabis to be able to
help people,
help the community, help society, and left it better than we found it. You know, and so we don't want legal recreational marijuana. What we want is regulation on hemp. We agree that it should be out the hands of children. We agree that there should be better marketing on it. There should be nothing that looks any type of way to be able to attract a child, right? Like no cookies on it, no sauce, nothing that looks like a fruit. You know what I mean? Kids see that stuff and they're like, I want that. What's that? And so kids are curious. You know, they ask questions about things. There should be adult only package types of labels. There should be 21 plus only. And there should also be extreme regulation about who's allowed to have a DSHS license, who's allowed to have a hemp cultivation license, who's allowed to, you know, stores need to have a little bit more regulation as far as how they look, the type of look that they're trying to achieve, right? And what store should be able to sell this. I don't want this shit to be sold in gas stations because they're not going through the proper regulatory chain. You know what I'm saying? Like gas stations, think about the type of individuals that would own the gas station, people that really, really care about their margins down to the smallest percent. That means they're not going to spend quality money on decent flower. They're going to spend money on the shit that's been sprayed with pesticides and is going to give a bad name to the community. You know what I'm saying? So that's what we mean. We want to get that shit out of gas stations. We want to get that shit out of places where it doesn't belong. And keep it only in stores that actually have the proper licenses to be able to carry shit like that. Yeah. Like us. Yeah.
Yeah. No, hell yeah. You made a good points there, man. Well, that's it for this video, y'all. Appreciate you, my boy.
Y'all come fuck with us. We located on Jefferson.
Yeah.
328 West Jefferson Boulevard.
And this shit don't give you no hangover.
No, at all. Woke up this morning feeling normal. Feeling fine. Shit. But y'all can fuck with us. You know, definitely come visit our store. Sorry, not fuck with us. Come visit our store.
Yeah, come check them out, man. Remedy here in Jefferson and Bishop Arts.
Yeah, Jefferson and Bishop Arts, 328 West Jefferson. Come follow us on Instagram at remedy_Oak Cliff. Or when this video is posted, you know, you can put a link in the description to it.
No, hell yeah. All right, thank y'all, man.
All right, y'all. Peace out.